And today's topic is discovery. But before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to settle in and get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, and just bringing vital life energy. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, any negativity, any stress. And now let's take another deep breath in. And this time, imagine sparkling bright light. Hold it and imagine that light lighting you up from the inside out, energizing, electrifying, and lighting you up. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining stress or tension, any negativity, any toxicity. And now let's just gently press our palms together, softly, softly, softly. Rub your fingers against your palms and feel that delicious tickling and tingling and that wonderful sensation of being in the physical. So, welcome, welcome. Great to be here with you. And it's a new week. And today's topic is discovery. Um, I have a recent addition to my little family here. It's me, my cat Jewel, and now Maggie, the green cheek conure. That's Maggie. And I've been really enjoying watching her in her process of exploration and discovery. And there's this constant curiosity that she has to explore everything and anything. And I was thinking how delicious that is, and um, how we tend to be very much in our knowing about things rather than a place of discovery. And being present to discovery is kind of living in a constant state of curiosity and wonder and exploration. And I just watch how she literally tastes the world. I mean, pretty much she puts her tongue and her beak on everything to taste it and check it out. And I watch her exploring things and fearlessly so. And it's so remarkable to see the the endless uh, energy of discovery that she evidences with everything she does. Good morning, Susan. Great to have you here. Welcome, welcome. So we're talking about discovery as inspired by Maggie here, because she's truly fearless. Like, good morning, Roslyn. Great to have you here. Um, so I am constantly entertained and inspired by her and her antics and uh, her endless curiosity, and um, it's really interesting to me to see how how undaunted she is. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Tammy. Great to have you guys here. We're talking about discovery as inspired by Maggie. She's sitting on the keyboard of my computer right now, going like this. I wish you could see her. She won't do it if she's on my finger, I don't think. So she she climbs endlessly. So, for instance, she'll jump onto the floor, and then she'll find a wire or my boot, and she'll start climbing up my leg and up my arms and onto my shoulders. And she's undaunted. She faces off with my cat to go over, just to go over and really she intimidates my cat so far. They're getting to uh, be a little more familiar with one another, but I just am so inspired by the way that she literally tastes life, and she kind of leads with her beak and her tongue. And I was thinking about the way that we go about discovering the world, and so much of what we are inclined um, to stay with is the known and the familiar, and uh, we often interact with the unknown with a sense of fear rather than a sense of curiosity and wonder. And I just, I have been so inspired by her wonder. I'm calling it wonder, but she, good morning, Dido. It's great to have you here. Do you see what she's doing? She's scooting around on her back. Um, and she has inspired a renewed sense of curiosity and wonder in me, and a greater sense of discovery in me, and a willingness to just explore, you know, to experience life vantage point of um, what's new, what more can I learn from this, what more can I discover, what's available here. And I think that cultivating the discovery, or the ability to be operating from that place for ourselves, is partly about asking the right questions. I mean, um, I think Maggie's just totally inspired by whatever's new, whatever is in front of her, in fact. And I'm looking at how we can cultivate that for ourselves, because there's a newness. Good morning, Ibrahim. Welcome. Wonderful to have you here. There's a newness that is available to us, um, that can inspire this sense of wonder and awe. And you know, so many of us wake up and it's like, oh, what do I have to do today? And I get to do all these things, and one thing after another, and it's about productivity, and it's about just doing rather than being. Hello, Tammy. Welcome. Great to have you here. We're talking about discovery as inspired by Maggie, the newest addition to my little family here. And I just want, so I would like to experience more of that incredible wonder that she inspires in me. You know, it's just um, I want to share that. I want to share that joy of an unknown world that we get to explore and engage with in a way that brings us a richer sense of maybe joy, appreciation, newness, you know, because maybe we have routines that we get bored by in our lives, and we get to look at how we can bring more more variety. And you know, bringing more variety to our lives isn't necessarily about doing different things. It may be about being a different way. You know, bringing more variety might be something as simple as just really seeing really looking at what's around us, maybe tasting things differently or touching things differently. That's, you know, this pressing our palms together and rubbing our palms together at the beginning of our sessions. That's really about coming to a different place of sensation, a different awareness. And I have an example. Years ago, I remember sharing with a friend the experience of canned lychee nuts. Now, I don't know if you've ever had them. They are this one, or fresh lychee nuts. Actually, these weren't canned, these were fresh. Fresh lychee nuts as this amazing, amazing experience. And so these fruits, they're maybe about this big, and they have a shell that has zillions of little I don't know if they're hexagonal, but this whole patterned shell around the outside. And so it's bumpy, it's rough, it's got all these little designs on the outside, and it's thin, so you can peel that shell, and you peel that shell, and the inside of that shell is lined with a very, very thin, sort of white translucent membrane that's very smooth. And the fruit that's inside has a silken texture. It's white and it's plump and it's juicy, although it's not juicy until you bite it. So it's silken and succulent, and when you put it in your mouth and you feel it with your tongue, it feels like silk. And when you bite it, the flesh is maybe this thick, and it is this wonderful, wonderful juice is released, a flavor that actually, if you smell it even before you taste it, it's got a fragrance that's almost like a perfume. And when you bite into it, it has this sweet, again, sort of perfumey flavor. And when you bite into through the flesh, and then inside the flesh is this beautiful seed that is, again, very, very smooth. It's brown. And if you feel that smoothness on your tongue, it's similar to the silkiness, but it has a slicker surface. And the whole experience, walking this person through this experience, first by viewing what this thing looked like, and then by peeling it and smelling it and tasting it and feeling it in the tongue, and getting the flavor of it, was this profoundly sensual, amazing experience that was very, very different from, oh, here's some fruit, I'm peeling the fruit, I'm popping in my mouth, I'm chewing it up and spitting out the seed. And so this is what I'm talking about in terms of good morning, Sally. Great to have you here. We're talking about discovery. So that whole process was a process of discovery, and it involved the senses and awareness in a different way from every day. So this is not an experience unique to lychee nuts, or lychees. This is an experience that we can bring forward with anything throughout our day. So a banana, certainly things that we can eat are wonderful, wonderful experiences to bring ourselves present to another dimension of discovery. But even something so simple as drinking water, because typically what do we do when we drink water or anything else? We just drink it. We drink it. We just drink it. But what if we presence ourselves to the sensations that are involved with drinking that water? What if we became aware of the temperature on our lips and on our tongue? And what if we became conscious of the sensation of water in our mouths? I mean, we don't even think about how magical water is, that we can wash with it, that we can drink it, that we can freeze it, that we can cook with it, that we can do all these remarkable things with it. And that it creates steam and it creates ice and it has all these different states. And it's really, really, really magical, and that we can imbibe it, that we need to have water to sustain ourselves, that it rains from the sky, that it pools in oceans and ponds and rivers and lakes and streams. It's all really, really remarkable. And the magic that's available to us by just taking a moment with the most mundane thing to discover more of what it is than what we call it, more of what it is than the way we typically interact with it. To discover the richness of the world around us. And this place of discovery, I think, inspires us to be present to the world from a different vantage point. So Tammy says, water is our life force. It is, absolutely. And it is a remarkable, remarkable, remarkable substance. Good morning, Isabel. So wonderful to have you here. And Sherry says, water is amazing and very cleansing for the spirit. I agree. Water is amazing. I mean, when you think that you can clean a surface with hot water, that you can water plants and they grow, that we can consume water and it nourishes us, that it hydrates us, that it's really, really remarkable. And we rarely give it the appreciation that it's due. And I think that this is the case with so many things in life. I mean, water certainly is a miracle. Isabel says, water is our main source for survival on this planet. And that's true. Without water, we die. And maybe that can give us a greater reverence for the gift that water is. And Rosalind says, I watched a movie on Netflix with Matt Damon called Brave Blue World. It's about reusing water. Hey, Rosalind, thank you for that. That is really, really cool. I was not aware of that movie, but I don't know if you know that Matt Damon has a charity called Water. I think it's called Water. And he's a big proponent and advocate for water. And I think that just this conversation about water is enabling us to recognize the miracles that surround us. This is absolutely miraculous. And we are surrounded by miracles all the time, everywhere. And we get to find appreciation for these miracles. So I was watching Maggie discovering gravity today. She was grabbing my pen, and she would grab the pen, walk over to the edge of the surface that she was on, and drop the pen on the floor. And this, she did this over and over, multiple times. And I remember when my cat was a kitten, she also really enjoyed exploring gravity, and kids explore gravity, and by dropping things from their maybe their high chair, when they're eating, dropping things on the floor just to see how they drop, or to hear the thing fall on the ground. And it was it amazing to me to be able to see that this is how we discover our world. This is how we explore our world, and how we learn, by doing things that we maybe haven't done before, by feeling into things, by exploring things with our senses in ways that perhaps we haven't before explored them. And there's a certain joy and wonder about this discovery that, you know, even just witnessing Maggie doing her discovery process has been quite remarkable. If I give her some, oh, awesome. So Dido, as always, you're remarkable at providing our resources. Thank you so much. Matt Damon's webpage is water.org. And so you might want to check that out. And, you know, to get back to the water thing, this is maybe a little bit off topic from discovery, but people have said that the next great wars are going to be water wars. And that doesn't have to be the case. There are so many things that we could be doing now to be shifting the way that we interact with water. And the amount of the way that we use water in our current society is, if you think about it, kind of crazy. We flush waste down the toilet. We use clean water to flush waste, create sewage, that we flush all kinds of food waste and chemical waste into our water. And then it goes through these systems to try and purify it. We flush medical waste into our water system. And it's really interesting to look at how our system is set up to really disadvantage us in the long run when it comes to water and cleaning water and having clean water, having potable water to drink. I mean, this has become a really more conscious topic for so many people, particularly because of the water quality that we all heard about in Flint, Michigan. But Flint, Michigan is not unique in any way. Our municipal water systems are degrading over time. The metals are corroding, and for the pipes, which is adding toxicity to the water. And we have more and more concern as water tables are threatened and polluted, and also the aquifers are being depleted. And it's really, really interesting how we can connect the health of the soil also to the health of our water tables. So it's interesting, of course, everything connects, right? So if we look at the way that we treat the soil, the chemical treatment of the soil runs off the soil. Where does it run? To our water system and to our common waterways and to our groundwater. And so Isabel says, so true. We need to appreciate more everything that surrounds us every day. We're going to fight for water, hoping no, no, no. Yes, I hope no, no, no too. Hopefully we can wake up before we get to that point, but we have been destroying our water source. So Rosalind says, by profession, I work in wastewater. How cool is that, Rosalind? Amazing. We turn sewer water and clean it and disinfect it to a level that is used to irrigate golf courses and irrigation for farmers. The rest is used to mitigate seawater intrusion to the groundwater drinking supply. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear that you're in that industry and you understand how critical it is to be having having sound water policies. And I think one of the big things that we can look at now is how we process waste. But even before that, let's go back to this idea of the health of the soil. See, what happens is when the soil is healthy, it has all kinds of organisms and bacteria and microbes and all kinds of life teeming in it. And as that soil is built up, it becomes a greater sink for water. It holds the water. The water then can go down into the aquifer and fill the water table. And that way we mitigate drought and things like that. Now, what we've been doing is we've been farming using chemicals that kill the life of the soil, and without those microbes and bacteria and mycelium and all these things that live in the soil, without that, the soil becomes dirt and the dirt blows away and we lose our topsoil. And what happens is we get floods and we get mudslides and all kinds of things like that because the soil, the ground can't absorb and hold the water. And so it is this whole big cycle. We don't get to focus just on one aspect, it's all connected. And so, interestingly, one of the ways that we can help to strengthen our water supply is by taking better care of our soil and not chemical farming. And there's all kinds of information out there available regarding this, but I think when we look at having to chemically treat water, it becomes problematic. There are natural ways that we can utilize the environment, that we can utilize nature's brilliance to clean the water. And a great resource for this information is John Todd, who is an icon in in ecology, and he has created a process by which I think it's called the living machine. I'm not sure, but it is water purification using plants and algae, and it's remarkable for being able to mitigate pollution and to remediate all kinds of toxic water supply issues. And it's done completely through natural means. And the benefit of that is that we don't have to keep chemicalizing ourselves, our waters, our lands, our soils. And as we move away from and away from chemical intervention and more into natural intervention, then we are better supporting our own health and our own welfare and our own futures, right? So interesting that we got into this conversation from the place of exploration and discovery. But all of these things, there's so much to discover. And I see discovery as a beingness, like a state of being. Let's be in the state of discovery, because then we get to learn things that will expand our awareness. That in being in the not knowing, we have an openness to discover something new and inspiring, and potentially new pathways, and new solutions and new questions. Even more than solutions, being in an evolution of questions is where life's vitality lay, or our experience of vitality and inspiration, to be learning something new, to be doing something new, to be discovering, is such a gift. And it is by its nature expansive, right? Because if we're discovering, we're expanding our horizons and our avenues. So Isabel says, absolutely. My father was a farmer, and I went to agriculture school to learn about running a farm. How very cool. Following rules of using natural resources and health to grow our cultures, to grow without harming the environment in our lives. Back then, very many years ago. That's so cool. Good for you, Isabel. Well, there's a big movement now called regenerative agriculture that is all about restoring the soil, restoring the land, using natural principles, and surprisingly, very much of lots of the foundations of regenerative agriculture are completely counter to what I had understood, not being a farmer. It's kind of doing a no-till approach to the soil. So rather than digging up the soil, using cover crops, using multiple kinds of plants planted near each other, so that they can work together. Isabel says, yes, I've seen a few documentaries about it. Yeah, regenerative agriculture, if you guys are interested, this is where care for the soil, restoration for the soil, and our health and our water tables and all of that good stuff, we come from the soil. And so by preserving the soil, that's one of the biggest inroads into turning around the current trajectory of devastation that we've wrought on the world. That the soil is a solution to creating a thriving future. So there's all kinds of great info out there. And all of this from a place of discovery. We get to discover and learn and expand and grow. And in that discovery is a sense of joy and wonder. And so I invite you to join me you join me on a daily basis, or some of you, and I am so grateful for that. And we are discovering together, we are exploring together these different thoughts, different topics, and also discovering how perhaps we can really create the thriving future that we all dream of. So, oh, Isabel, you were born in Portugal. How about that? And so, yeah, 40 years ago, your dad did what's now called regenerative agriculture. I believe you. This is how people used to live. Another Netflix movie, it's about the soil. It's called Kiss the Ground. Exactly. And it's moderated by Woody Harrelson. And it's a fabulous movie. So these are all things that we can discover for ourselves, learn more about it, learn what we can do to help promote these practices. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. These practices that are going to carry us into the future that we dream of. So, with that, I'm going to call it a morning. This was a great conversation about water and soil and discovery and adventure, exploration. And I so appreciate you guys joining me. And it's really cool to learn more about you, too, Rosalind and Isabel, to hear about your, more about your lives. Really a gift. So, thank you. And I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. I come live on Facebook, on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network. And I hope to continue these wonderful conversations with you again soon, like maybe even tomorrow together. Lots and lots of love. Until then, be well and see what you can discover today that is new and feeds your heart and soul.